Tonight, we got the boys together talking about a movie, Project Power, Netflix exclusive. First, let me introduce the crew. Tonight, we got Ben. My left hand is my masturbation mistress, Hanson. That's him. Russ, I love my cyclist, Craigie. I was
Mhm.
totally thinking that if we have some new viewers or some old viewers, if you are a cyclist enthusiast, please message and comment. Russ loves cyclists. He loves them in the middle of the road, 24/7, in the way, out of the way, thinking their vehicles, the whole nine. So if you are a cyclist, novice, pro, whatever, Russ is the man. Let him know your love. Show him your love. This movie is about a former soldier who teams up with a cop to find the source behind a dangerous pill that provides a temporary and unpredictable superpower. Before we get into the superpowers, I got a question for you guys. Red pill or blue pill? Remember the
Are we
theory
talking
behind
Matrix
red pill,
now?
blue
I can't remember which one did what, but I want to stay in the Matrix. Like,
Matrix. Originally, I was thinking it was that red pill, blue pill bullshit where it's like you take this pill and you go back to being 16 with all your knowledge, or you get unlimited money from this point forward. I thought that's what it was, but I guess the pill is your willingness to learn unsettling life changes, truth, or the blue pills are your mean on your ordinary reality or something like that. I was like, yeah, that's it. I thought it was better than that when I looked it up. I was like, that's kind of lame. Um,
I mean,
but
I feel like
let's
I've
get
lived
into
long enough that I'd rather remain ignorant at this point. Like, I so many times think that ignorance is bliss, and people who are able to just go through life without questioning things or without expectations must live just this nice little slice of the universe. But no, I wouldn't give it up. Actually, fuck those people. the I watched The Matrix, and the world they lived in was horrible.
it.
It was fucking awful, dude. You fly around in ship, big machines come and cut it to pieces, and yeah, And it like
It
looked really bad.
looked
90% of
backbreaking.
them get killed by the end of it. 90% of
Mm-hmm.
humans. So I'd be dead after living this horrible life. Or I could just live in my little egg sack and keep on having a whatever random life. Random
Mm-hmm.
life.
Cyclist enthusiast. All right, well, let's get into it. Russ, have you seen this movie before? This great showing.
Hell no.
I feel like this is gonna be it, man. Give me the graded and graded, man. Give me what you got. Let's roll.
All right, so there's two kinds of bad movies. There's ones that you like, and there's ones that you don't like. And this movie, I did enjoy watching. Would I recommend it to anyone? Probably not. Um, but I've definitely seen bad movies that I don't like, and I felt like, why did I just waste 2 hours of my life? This one was one of those just like fun, campy bullshit. It's cool to see Jamie Foxx again. Why the hell is Machine Gun Kelly an actor? All right.
Agreed.
Um,
Colson Baker.
Colson
Colson Baker is his name. Yeah.
so I guess I'd probably give it like a C.
All right. All right. All right. Left hand. What you got?
You know, it's funny when when that opening sequence and Machine Gun Kelly steps up and delivers his line. I thought, oh, it's gonna be this kind of bad movie. Dude, with the when the writing is bad, it takes me out of it. The writing was not awful, but this definitely, to me, and we'll probably get into it later. At least I'd like to get into it later. Streaming movies have they've changed the landscape of what a movie can be and what the expectations are. This is, if anybody's watched Red Notice, it's like you got three major stars in this movie, and this movie is fucking dumb. Uh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt should never try and do an accent again, ever.
All right.
And yeah, I speculate on some stuff with Jamie Foxx, but overall,
interesting plot. I felt it was a bit formulaic. I knew we were not going to see a ton of transformations because that costs money. So it was like they got to have it at specific points. And yeah, Machine Gun Kelly catching on fire and exploding was probably one of the better ones. So I'd have to give it like a D plus. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea.
All
Not
right.
my
To,
cup of tea.
to Ben's point, I actually think the worst writing in the whole movie was that very first scene. And it
Right.
really sets the movie on like a low bar. And I thought the same thing, like, wow, this is gonna be bad. And then I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad. It was kind of like watching League of Extraordinary Gentlemen again.
Except that I don't know, that would be an interesting comparison.
I only thought of it because it also had Mr. Hyde in it.
Was he in this?
The guy who takes the pill and he turns into the big zombie from Left for Dead. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, Jason, what'd you rate it?
All right. So I watched this movie when it first came out, and I forgot all about it. And when I was asked to pick a movie, for some reason, this fucking movie came to mind. I decided to watch it for this show, and after I watched it, I realized, what the fuck did I do? This movie had considerable style, but I think it really lacks substance. The character building was pretty shit. I didn't understand why Robin had the whole rapping thing throughout the movie. I didn't understand the point of it. She didn't kill anybody with her rhymes or nothing, so I don't understand that. But she did a good job though. Um,
I
I think
mean,
the
when she was
CGI
yeah, when she was dreaming about telling off the teacher, that was
that
all
was good.
right.
All right, I will use that. Um, I feel like the power for only 5 minutes was an interesting aspect of it. To see how they're going to play off that. I think the soundtrack was pretty good. I think for Netflix, the CGI was decent. It could have been, from I don't know what the budget on this thing was, but I couldn't imagine it being something crazy. Um, I liked some of the camera angles. I think the cinematography was pretty good. I think the for what it was, obviously it's not a big budget, movie or nothing like that. But I didn't think it was that bad. But the plot of the story could have been a lot better. I feel like this would have been a better miniseries compared to a movie. I think that if it would have been like a
Mhm.
5 or 6, 10 episode movie show, more superpowers, more story, more depth. I think it would have been better. I never really got the grasp of the daughter that they're trying to save. She kind of came in at the end. I don't know. The Robin was kind of like his daughter throughout the movie, but they're trying to save his daughter. It was just weird, man. All in all, I'm a C minus kind of person on this one. I really thought it'd be better, but the second watch, I was like, what the fuck did I do? Um, but yeah, I'm a C minus. I was
I
also
like what you
thinking that
say about the show. Like the whole time they've got Jamie Foxx's character who's kind of the uh he's not with the law. He's just a vigilante trying to track these guys down. And then you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt who uses her to get the drug because he likes to take the drug for taking out and they don't really meet up until the end. It's not like they're working together the whole movie. You know what I mean? They're kind of at odds for a little while. So a episodic show would be really good for like here's Jamie Foxx episode 1, Joseph Gordon-Levitt episode 2, and you kind of bounce back until they team up, and it's like oh shit, now it's on. I think that would have been
yeah,
a much better build up. Yeah.
yeah, I think if it would have been at least one season, it didn't have to be multiple, but I think it would have been a lot better if they would have strung it out
No, yeah.
10,
I
45
don't
minute
think it would have been.
episodes. It would have been a solid B.
I
Yeah, right.
actually
Yeah,
agree
no.
with
One
Jason.
season.
I
Yeah.
I think it would have been like a crappy version of Heroes, but still good
Which
enough to watch.
yeah, and Heroes even like starts out where you really buy in, and then it feels like they did not know where to go. Like they didn't expect the pilot to get picked up or something. That's what I always felt when I watched it was like you guys are really just stringing out this idea and it's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, superpowers. If you guys had a choice of superpowers, which one would you choose? Would you have a certain superpower if you had the
Dude,
ability to pop the
all
pill
right.
and choose one? What would yours be?
I would want to be a bullet shrimp
A what?
so that I could fucking
Liquefy people, right? So fast, the air would explode around you.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
mean, are
true.
these superpowers based on animals? Because that was, I found it interesting that this show grounded it in the animals. That honestly, I was like, oh, that gives it a little bit of credibility that this has been developed from working off of the natural world to give these abilities to humans. So if that's the caveat, I mean, it's hard to be without the mantis shrimp. But
So a shapeshifter, maybe.
yeah, the chameleon would be pretty cool. Although I don't think that would actually work.
Was he a chameleon or an octopus? Because it seemed like he was
mm,
shifting too fast to be a chameleon.
yeah, maybe a cuttlefish. Cuttlefish do that too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
spoon. Yeah.
Real
hmm
superpower, though, I think I'd want to be like the smartest being in the universe.
Mm,
All right.
Because then
I'd
I could
probably
like
go for Mr.
invent.
Incredible.
I wouldn't die. I could just.
Think my way out of it.
I'd figure out how to like. I'd be Elon Musk on steroids. I'd be like, invent this shit for me. Here's how you do it.
Here's money. Figure
hmm
it out.
Mm-hmm.
I got a spare couple of organs just ready to go at any time. Anything that's gonna fail, just put a new one in me. Now make it available in a pill form. I want a new heart. What? I'm good.
I think that vegans already have a superpower. They have the ability to annoy all their friends by telling them they're vegans. But I have a couple other bad superpowers that came to mind when I was thinking about it. Because I was thinking, if I could be a superpower, I would think I would want to be a shapeshifter. Like kind of what I was saying. You can kind of pick and choose what you want to be. But some bad superpowers I came up with was bullet attraction. Probably bad.
Right?
Um,
Pretty bad. Pretty
read
bad.
your own mind. Doesn't help. Super slow mo doesn't do much either. And the
Oh,
last
that'd
but
be
not
so
least is
annoying.
invisible handwriting. That's a shitty one. So that's kind of what I came up for bad superpowers. But in a
What
nutshell,
about if you were just really sticky,
stick
like all the time,
That would
like you
be
never showered.
awful.
Yeah,
and you walked around and tried to
Yeah.
use things?
the
And
sticky bandits.
hmm
could you
Oh,
imagine like
dude.
trying to wipe your butt? That'd be
Uh-oh.
bad.
Maybe kind of like this show rating. Yeah.
Mm.
But what else you guys got? Anything else for now? I mean, I thought we were going to talk
Most of
about
my
Jamie
shit's
Foxx a
just
little bit.
talking shit. So this takes place in New Orleans. Like, did you guys get the feeling at any time during the movie that it was like set in New Orleans?
Not at all.
Like they did very little to make it feel like a New Orleans kind of a movie. I felt like it could have been any city. They made it seem very slummy. I felt like it was like a, Judge Dredd dystopian future where it was the super slums and then somewhere out there is uh
I don't even
something.
remember getting a distinct sense of place from it at all.
At
It
all.
was like
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
shipyard, weird gangster hideout, a Kmart, and like
Super
him
center.
driving around under some bridges.
Right. Yeah, any city, anywhere. I was like, it's interesting that they would specifically say it was New Orleans. It was like, why it would have been almost cooler if you didn't give the city a name so that it could be just any city. I find like that's a better thing. So, have you guys seen the next, as far as I know, the next Jamie Foxx Netflix movie, Day Shift? Have you guys watched that?
Is that the zombie one?
Vampires.
No.
Snoop Dogg's
Oh,
a cowboy
vampires.
vampire hunter.
Snoop Dogg with the minigun as an
That's
Oh,
NPC.
right.
no,
That's right.
That's all you
no,
need
I
to know.
haven't seen it, but I think one of you guys talked about it the other day, right?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. So I couldn't help but think like when Dave Chappelle made a deal with Netflix, he did three specials, right? I wonder if Jamie Foxx did the same kind of three picture deal. So you got Project Powers movie one, Day Shift is movie two, and then he's been in the news lately that he's got some kind of a breakdown, or I'm not sure what it is, but he's been getting treatment for being a little overwhelmed. I wonder if he's seen these two movies and realized he's got to make a third Netflix movie, and it was just too much.
Is he actually in the news for breaking down?
I saw quite a few stories, like Kevin Hart was giving reports on how he's doing, and you know, who knows? It's all clickbait. It's all clickbait. Uh,
You
let's
guys
talk
ever
about how much
listen?
we like Machine Gun Kelly.
Dude, did you guys watch?
No.
I don't know what it was. I think it's the new Jackass. For some reason, Sonia put it on, and she's not like,
I
"Ooh,
have
I like
not seen the
Jackass,"
newest one. Hmm.
but we watched it, and Machine Gun Kelly is on it, and they they set up this contraption that's like you're riding a bike machine. You're just pedaling
Oh yeah, yeah,
in
yeah, and
place.
it winds up the hand.
Yeah, it winds up the hand of your opponent, and then it just whoever does it the fastest smacks the other person into the pool.
Right.
That's what I think of when I think of Machine Gun Kelly. Also, he got Megan Fox. How did he do that?
I don't know. These are the questions. These are the
That's Shia
questions.
LaBeouf's girl.
But
Come
not
on.
only in the movies. This ain't real life. In real life, people like Machine Gun Kelly pull down Megan Fox. Streaming movies. I remember when I worked at Blockbuster, uh, and they would come out with these, like, I feel I've been a student of movies for quite a while in my life, and I would say when I was younger, it was almost all big production company movies. Warner Brothers, Orion Pictures in the 80s. You only had movies made by these big companies. And then the indie film came out, and it was like all these people put together to make this movie because they really want to tell this story. And they were a hit and miss in a while. I really remember Lionsgate being just complete awful bullshit up until one specific movie. I really wish I could remember which one. Is that right? Are you catching flies? Anyway.
That's what the Lionsgate thing was.
Oh yeah, right. I
Rah.
always think of the cogs, all the cogs, and then the gate closes and it's Lion Gate. Anyway, uh, so yeah, interesting to see it go from the indie films really took off and ran, and then they started just like we can just make a movie to make money, and they would, Blockbuster used to put them out a lot. You'd have your dozen or so big releases, and then your smaller releases, but not great stories anymore. Just, let's make a horror flick and see if we can throw it at the wall and it sticks. And then that progressed into streaming. So now it's given way to even more captive audiences and the ability to just like, all right, here's our budget for this, put it together. And it's, it makes me wish that those big production companies had gathered together and started legislature to shut everybody else out.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
definitely it's like I agree. It's like quantity over quality is what it seems like. Let's just see how much bullshit we can shove
Exactly.
out there, and keep people
Exactly.
clicking and keep people streaming. Oh, let's have value for this
Yep.
monthly fee, and
Right. Yeah.
usually
And
it's
it's just
C
shit.
minus shows. Yeah,
Yeah. It's absolute just awful crap for your brain. Yeah. Thank you for putting my 5-minute diatribe into a 30-second soundbite. That
hey,
was
that's all I
yours. I
do.
liked yours better. Yes. Quantity over quality.
Yeah, when you started talking, I just shut off, and then at the end, I'm like, wait, I should say something. Yeah.
But
But no, I mean, Blockbuster, man. I remember going in there and be kind, please rewind, and them upselling you on popcorn, and and
Oh, yeah.
you get the. I was always juiced when you walked in with that free movie pass. You get that like free rental ticket, man. I was like, look at
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm a fucking pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Friday
My
nights,
favorite
man.
customers were always the rewards customers who would get their new movie and an old movie for free. And I was like, yeah, you got it. You know what you're doing. You got it.
and
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean, I
like
remember.
$10 for a year of that, right?
Yeah, and people, I'd be like, you'll save $2 right now. You're already renting 6 movies. These 3 will
Yeah.
be free. No, I don't want it. It's like
I
Whatever.
whatever.
remember we were, forced to do sales, but got no reward for it other than the threat of you will lose your Blockbuster, your minimum Blockbuster job if you don't do this. Like you
Mm.
didn't have to hear that for a month if you did good in sales. But
Right.
I just remember they were pushing rewards. And I got to this point where if somebody came up and they had, I think it was 3 movies that were older, give them one for free, 2 are discounted. It's already less money than the rewards program. I would just ring it up. I wouldn't even ask them. And then I'd be like, oh, here, I signed you up for rewards. It saved you a little money today. And then they left.
Hmm.
And I would get like 30 in a month or whatever. But
Right.
Yeah,
before
I
that, I
never
got
had to worry about
0.
that customer who's like, what? I don't want that.
yeah.
They're
It's funny
just
because I
like,
just got an
oh,
email. I got an email a couple weeks ago and it said that my rewards for Blockbuster are expiring this year. I should probably get in there and use them.
yeah, you should
Yeah.
just head on up to Oregon.
I think, yeah, the
Did
only
you guys see what's the Netflix and the other big streaming services are cracking down on
sharing.
on the sharing thing.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's actually Blockbuster or if someone who just owns a Twitter account that says Blockbuster and that account tagged Netflix and said, "Hey, just reminding everyone that we never cared how many people you shared our movies with."
Dude,
Shots
I
from the
wish
grave.
a video store would come back. Like it would be impossible. It makes no sense anymore. But
No, I agree because I
I
remember here in where I live, there used to be a Hollywood Video or a Blockbuster, but before that was Cinema Video. And I
mhm.
remember going to Cinema Video and being able to pick it was like a family atmosphere. You go in there, you pick out a
Yep.
movie or two, and you know what you're going to do for the night. And you get a
Yeah.
Papa Murphy's
To the
pizza or something.
conversations you'd get to have with the people frequenting the video store were phenomenal. Maybe Russ, do you remember there was a young couple and they would always come in and he would rent horror movies and she would rent Disney movies. They were super nice. They came in like twice a week, would rent a stack of movies, and you just have conversations about different great movies.
I
Uh,
don't remember that couple, but there's definitely a handful of people whose names I remember and who I just remember seeing every week. And
mhm.
we'd talk for, 5 minutes at one of the counters, 10 minutes maybe. And then they'd get their movies and then they'd leave. And it was like I knew everybody in that freaking
Yeah.
town, this freaking town.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it was like I Am
Yeah.
Legend when he goes and gets a new movie. He mingles with everybody while you're there. It's
I was
portrayed.
basically a legend. I was Blockbuster guy.
That was you.
But yeah, I remember
Token legend
Ralph.
Russ.
I loved Ralph. I remember Old John. Do you remember Old John?
At the crabs 2 times. Of course I remember John, dude. He was one of the biggest characters I've ever met. That guy, I fucking love that guy.
Do you remember Old James with
Old
like the
James.
really long wizard beard and the long wizard hair?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Always
Yeah.
wore the Hawaiian shirts,
Yep.
and he worked at the state
Like
hospital.
just like the one you're wearing right now.
Me, yeah. Just
Yeah.
booked
Oh,
a
you're
trip to
turning into
Hawaii.
Old James.
I was like, wait a second, are
That's
you
right.
describing Ben right now? um,
Yes.
Wait a minute, old James. I don't even know old James. Right? Half baked. Hit the button. Boop. Anyway. Yeah, what else? What
well,
else?
I got one more question on Blockbuster before we move on. Because I
Oh, no
remember
worries.
I have a
Love
question. So
Blockbuster talk.
I never worked there, so I got to ask this question. So I remember having to take the movies in and then set them on the counter and then make sure someone saw them. They'd pick them up, they put them in their little check-in area, and then we're good to go. And then they put this wall slot in the wall, and you can slide it in and thunk, and then you walk. You're like, yeah, that was me. I just put that shit in the wall. And then they put the drive-through bullshit outside, where it looks like a dumpster, and you put the movies in it. Did you guys have the dumpster one outside where you had to like fill it full of movies and go out there and collect that shit?
It wasn't a drive-through, but it was outside of the building, and people could like it was like putting your mail inside, and it would go into this box that we had inside the building.
All right. I just wondered. I could imagine this big tub full of random ass movies just shoved in there and just a complete fucking mess. But
Yep. And you
I
had
mean,
to
yeah.
look at every box, verify it's got the
Yep.
correct film in there.
You would, but you would look at the
Check the
outside
shoes.
of the box and make sure it was for store 3306217.
Oh
And
shit!
then you would open
Oh, shit.
the box and you
Now,
would make sure that
technically,
DVD
the
was
store
in it.
number was 2617, 06217. 33 just
Okay.
meant it was a rental. Because what was it if it was a previously viewed movie?
Look at you guys.
Or four.
I'm so proud.
4-4.
I am
That's
so
right.
Or
proud.
four
right
was
now.
PRP.
That's right.
Yeah. So if
Previously
anyone is
rented
watching
product.
this have worked at Blockbuster and all this gibberish bullshit means something to you, leave that comment. It's all I want to know. 'Cause right now,
Also,
That's
I don't know what
right.
the fuck they're talking about.
also
Where my
after you type
Blockbuster peeps at.
0621,
Sarah, I know you watched this or you had watched this show twice. Whatever.
Maybe once.
Sarah, talk about Blockbuster. If you type in the numbers 12909 after 06217, you are me. That was
Oh,
my
God.
identity.
Nice.
You are a Blockbuster guy from the local area.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you guys ever have to like charge people? I'm sorry, I'm getting all sidetracked here. Did you ever have to charge people for not rewinding? Because I've always wondered that too. Because I've always rewound. I mean, you had that fancy, you didn't want to rewind in your VCR. You had the rewind machine beside the VCR, so you plugged it in and it rewound it way faster. Why I had that, I have no fucking idea. The VCR rewound just fine, but you have that thing to go rewind.
But you'd wear out the VCR. I was lucky enough. I feel like I started right on the very tail end where those were almost completely phased out. Like VHS was phased out in my first year at Blockbuster.
You could actually see my VHS right here in the video.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
right there.
When
Yeah.
I started there, VHS was a thing of the past. I started like in the early days of DVD. I think Ben was probably there like 3 years before I started, maybe 2.
Something like that. Yeah.
And
I remember
then-
my first VCR, the remote had a cord attached to the fucking remote. So the remote
Oh,
cord
yeah.
to the VHS. And it's like, it was only so long. So if your couch was far away from your TV, you're like leaning to use the motherfucker. It made no sense whatsoever, but it was top line back then. Top of the line.
Top of the line.
Yeah.
You ever have a beta machine?
No.
A
not that
beta
old.
player? Yeah.
Is that a big ass disc? Like a big ass disc?
No, that's Laserdisc.
That's laser disc. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the stepping stone between VHS to DVD.
I remember
They
someone had
were-
a huge collection of that. I remember watching Thriller on that. Like, what the fuck? It
Yeah.
was like the whole family,
Very
the whole crew got
prestigious.
together. Yeah, it was.
I knew a couple people with Laserdisc, and I thought, oh, you've got money.
Yeah, then it had all this huge VHS collection. Then all of a sudden, DVDs come out, and I'm like, what the fuck did I waste all that money for on VHS?
Yep.
Crazy.
Hey, when
Now
you
I'm
guys
doing it again.
like first have your first memory of a TV in your home, for me, my age, I don't remember not having a TV in my home. I don't know if that's the same thing for you guys, but I do remember it was like the dial that had maybe 20 numbers on it.
Fucking
And
click,
everyone
click,
had
click.
this like
Yeah.
very satisfying click, click, thud almost as you did it. And it
Yep.
would do that static between each one.
Well, yeah, it was a big ass box, and it had the speakers on the side, and it was like a fucking refrigerator was so damn big, like a freezer.
I
yeah,
remember
those.
I remember there'd be times like, because we live in a weird spot, so we only, out of the 20 numbers on there, we only got like 7 channels or something, and we knew where they were, so we'd like flip between them. And sometimes like one of them wouldn't be working, and my dad would have to go on the roof, and like I don't know what he was doing up there, just shaking the antenna around. Like, what's
Yeah.
he?
Moving it.
I know
think
where it
get the
goes.
That's
foil.
going to catch radio waves better.
Oh, you want to watch channel 13? We got to move it to the right. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys remember when the cable boxes
Yeah.
were out and you had you had to like watch channels and it had like that static electricity shit going on and you're like trying to watch TV or whatever? No, never mind.
It's amazing how times have changed. And you think about like when you were super young, how those TVs kind of lasted for a while. And then at one point it hits an evolution, and then like the evolution time gets slower and slower and slower until, now it's you buy a TV today and next year they're going to have a new model that's got better features.
Yeah, and it's about as thin as my hair. Yeah, it's crazy.
TVs are awesome nowadays.
They are.
They're so big and so flat and so smart and so cheap. It is great.
It sounds like my checking account. Yeah.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're describing your ideal woman.
So, no.
She's a cyclist.
That's actually all. Never mind.
We're not going down that path.
Hey,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
who's an actor in this that you liked watching?
I thought your shirt said machine gun for a second there. Now it says machine head. I had to look twice.
I'm a Machine Gun Kelly fan.
I had a feeling that's when you asked
all
that.
his paraphernalia.
I mean, it definitely wasn't Jamie Foxx. I didn't think it was very good for him, but I actually
I enjoyed
Robin.
watching. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to throw out a name personally.
Yeah,
I like Robin.
it's a trick
I
question.
like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I want to like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. His accent in this was unexcusable. Just Jesus, man. And I felt like Robin was like you had said earlier, kind of almost, what's the point with her entire she's the linchpin for bringing them together, but like why? Like her and JGL do not have a relationship where you're like, oh, I can see why they're so solid. It's like he's a cop and she's apparently an actual dealer. Like I thought she was going to be an undercover cop after that scene. I thought that was going to be her whole deal. No, she's a high school student.
No.
She's a 30-year-old high school student who's selling power pills.
She's a 30-year-old high school student.
For
hey, what
real,
about Luke
dude?
Hawx, though? Luke Hawx did a pretty good job. He was the guy who Jamie Foxx killed on the ice by smashing his head into the ice. Good for him, right? Good job, Luke Hawx.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I'm going to come down to a C-, actually.
There it is.
Right.
I was waiting for it.
It'll keep on dropping. Dude, even Courtney B. Vance, who played like the police captain, his whole, you're not going to come down here and take my fucking investigation. I was like, you're a policeman. Are you really talking to the FBI like that? And also, you do not sound like you swear in real life. You're having a very hard time making this sound realistic. Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like there must have been a weird. I was actually thinking about it earlier, where I could see Jamie Foxx like, "Hey, maybe we should try this out," and the directors are like, "I tell you what, you just hit your mark and act, and we're good." Like there probably wasn't a collaborative feel to the whole thing. It was ABC 1, 2, 3. Let's hit these numbers and wrap.
We have a week and a half. Let's get this shit going, man.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, it was like an $85 million budget or something like that, and I'm sure he got half of that. So it wasn't much going on.
Yeah, which is weird because we Beasts of No Nation, also did that was the first one, right? That's Netflix first Netflix produced movie. That wasn't that bad.
No, that was a great movie.
That didn't.
Well,
yeah, that does not have the same kind of. Just I don't know the beats. Maybe just use unknown names or don't put Machine Gun Kelly in a film. That could be the entire thing.
That might have raised up the grade right there. Just throwing that out.
That's right.
They also like House of Cards. I know it's not a movie; it's a show.
What phenomenal!
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about how much you love Kevin Spacey.
Well, let's move on. But Stranger Things, another
phenomenal.
really good show. Ozark is a Netflix original.
That was
fucking A, dude.
So good. Narcos, they're good at shows. They should just stick to shows.
That's what I was saying.
Guys, it's one of their first. It's one of their first. Did you guys ever watch Lilyhammer?
No.
No,
but I do know of it.
yeah, little Steven Van Zant turns fucking federal witness for the mob and goes to Lilyhammer, Stockholm, and dude, that was a pretty good show. Not great, but pretty good. I feel like I've seen plenty of Netflix shows that I actually believe are pretty great.
There's some movies that have some name to them. I've got them in front of me right now. The
Bring it on.
Irishman.
Okay.
Wow, that's a
Ben,
Netflix movie. Okay.
yeah, Ben, you liked Ballad of Buster Scruggs, right?
Oh, dude, that's a great little thing. That's like yeah, just little vignettes about the different types of Western movies. You got the bank robber movie, you got the prairie movie. I love that. Dude, the the meal ticket with fucking uh Liam Neeson and the kid who played Dudley in Harry Potter. That is a haunting fucking set of film right there. That's yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for Netflix, we wouldn't have Netflix and chill. So thank you, Netflix, for that.
True.
Yeah,
Thank
click
True.
click the link.
you. um, but I don't. Again, like second viewing of this movie, I was kind of disappointed. But I would love
Yep.
for somebody to drop a couple comments on this one and just say how good or bad you thought it was. Something in the bottom of this list. Let us know what you
Or
think, please.
something similar you could recommend.
Or, I feel like once a month a bicyclist tries to kill me on the street. How
Yeah.
often does it happen to you? Do
Well,
they
I've read-
invade your space as
I've
much as
read-
they invade mine?
They invade your space. I
Now,
think they could.
let me just qualify this real quick because I'm curious. I'm curious like a cat. That's why they call me Whiskers. Uh, do they like get off their bike and come after you because of something you've done, or you're just unable to drive your vehicle properly because they're taking up the road?
Yeah, like where I live, there's no bike lane, but I live in a
Right.
very like, oh, I want to
Well,
go for a stroll on my bike out there. And they
mhm.
do, and there's all these hills and like double yellow lines and turns and stuff where you can't see. And they go real slow because it's hard to ride a bike. And then I need to get to work. So I'm always like, last time I tried to go around a bicyclist, it was like right as another car was coming. So I'm just going to wait it out until I get to a good spot. And every fucking time it's like, I can't wait any longer. I'm just going to go. And there's been no cars that whole time I was waiting. And then right when I try, it's like, and I'm like, oh my God. And
this is what I was hoping for when I brought up the
and the
cyclist
bicyclist just tries to like, they know I'm there, but they just pretend they don't. They could pull over. Whatever.
So when I brought up the names at the
cyclists.
beginning of the show, I was really hoping Russ would be the one talking about cyclists compared to you talking
Nice.
about
Yeah.
your left hand. But
Good
thank you.
diatribe.
Appreciate that.
Definitely.
Well worth it.
Definitely.
All
right.
But Russ, what do you call a cyclist without a helmet? Just throwing that out there real quick. An organ donor. Just throwing that out there.
Roadkill. Oh, organ donor. All right. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Anything else on the show before we wrap up the fun?
I think that covers Project
think
Power.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd watch it. Hey, but if you guys want to listen to us talk about Blockbuster, tell your friends to watch this episode.
Way better than
whatever
this
you do,
movie.
support Blockbuster.
Yeah.
They need it.
Especially store
They need
237-59330.
Bringing it back.
Right. Sandy Morocco, where are you? Where are you now? Anyway.
But yes, thank you for hanging out. Be a subscriber if you're not. Check us out. Leave a message, little comment, say hey, say thank you, say hi. Somebody fuck myself. I don't care.
Leave
say
a condiment.
Hey,
Right.
mint flavor condoms. But yeah, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.